Marty Necas and Rutger McGroarty, two of the players that have been mentioned most by NHL trade rumors over the past couple of months, were nearly involved in a trade involving each other. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Winnipeg Jets were reportedly close to pulling the trigger on a huge deal. We'll discuss what the rumored package was, how it could have worked out, and what it means for both clubs coming up next. Welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, today we're taking a look at a trade that almost happened, ultimately rejected for whatever reason, did not go through, and could have been a big deal and transformed both clubs, made them look a lot differently than what they currently look here today. So, of course, this deal is rumored to have gone down or was being discussed over the course of the 2024 NHL draft. Obviously involved multiple pieces and involved two names that have been, heavily discussed in the NHL trade rumor mill really over the past, probably say 6 to 8 weeks. So we're talking about Marty Necas of the Carolina Hurricanes and Rutger McGroarty of the Winnipeg Jets. Now, we know that Marty Necas actually just re-signed with Carolina yesterday. That was a 2-year deal at $6.5 million average annual value. So that's certainly not a long-term deal. I think that contract does indicate and kind of validates a lot of the rumors that were being discussed around this player, that he certainly was not crazy about staying in Carolina. He was looking for a fresh start, wanted more opportunity. He wanted to go to another team where he could get more consistent top line or top 6 minutes, first power play minutes, that type of stuff. Oftentimes in Carolina, he would get on third line, maybe second power play. It wasn't that he wasn't getting a good opportunity, because I think they really value the player, but it's a deep roster, and certainly, I think it's fair to say that maybe his consistency impacted things a bit. Seth Jarvis on that top line kind of, pushed him down a little bit. At the end of the day, Necas, I think, wanted to showcase that he could be a top line player, and didn't feel it was going to happen with the Hurricanes. But that team and that roster has gone through a lot of transformations through this offseason, and they've lost a lot of players via free agency. So it's a different looking roster now. Marty Necas is a player that they're going to certainly, be heavily relied upon, have a bigger role, more opportunity. So I think the contract he signed will certainly quiet the rumors temporarily. But I think it does a couple of things. One, it gives him an opportunity to make sure that he's part of the team for the coming season, gives him a chance to have that bigger role, see if he can seize it. Can he consistently be in that top 6 contributing? Can he consistently be in the first power play contributing? If he can put that together, have a real solid year, maybe they could discuss a longer term extension and he'll be a big part of the team going forward. But it also gives him flexibility. He'll be a UFA at age 27 in 2 years' time. If it's not working out, he'll have the option of walking, or if he doesn't want to sign an extension next summer when he's eligible, Carolina at that point will be more aggressive to pull the trigger so they don't lose him for nothing. So, yes, the rumors on Necas are going to calm down, but they are not going to, they could resurface within a period of time depending on how things go. So we know for sure he's not going anywhere, at least temporarily. But now on the Winnipeg side of things, Rutger McGroarty very much is still out there, still rumored to be moved. We don't know how this is going to play out. But the rumored package that the Winnipeg Jets were offering Carolina here is Rutger McGroarty, Cole Perfetti, and a draft pick. I'm not sure if it was, I don't think it was a first rounder, but a pick in there for Marty Necas. Now, this information comes from Frank Saravalli, NHL Insider, dailyfaceoff.com. Obviously had a lot of intel around what was being discussed around the draft. And this would have been a major, major deal. Now, we know that a big part of this very well could have been the willingness of Marty Necas to sign a contract on a longer-term basis with whoever he was going to. There was multiple teams that were close to getting a deal done for Necas, so the rumor mill suggested, at least the intel that was out there, it was that the Hurricanes had plenty of conversations around this player. A lot of teams were involved. A few, more than just Winnipeg, thought they were really close to getting a deal done, and it never materialized. And I think for the most part, a lot of those reasons was they obviously wanted Necas to sign for a decent number of years to make that worth their while, and he was reluctant to do that. And of course, he might not have a lot of say over where he's traded to, but if he doesn't want to sign a contract, it kind of defeats the purpose. But, obviously Winnipeg offering, McGroarty, who's a former first-round pick, somebody who's not impacting the roster yet, but somebody they had high hopes for. Perfetti, who's been, again, a former first-round pick that you could say maybe underachieved, but I think he was underutilized too. I think that Perfetti player here is a guy that's got a lot of potential. And I'd be a little reluctant if I'm Winnipeg to give up on him here just yet. As much as I do like Natchez and I do see the fit there with Winnipeg, I don't know. See, the thing with Winnipeg is they really need a number 2 center. And obviously, Natchez can be a guy who maybe he's a center, maybe he's a winger. Like, he's a versatile player. I don't know that, I think they might have seen some options for him. So at the end of the day, this was a pretty significant deal. It would have brought Carolina, 2 players that could have had an impact on their roster here right away and gets them a little bit younger too. Like, clearly with all the changes that it was going through there, maybe they don't lose all the players that they do in free agency, right? Because obviously moving Natchez's contract, it eliminates money that they had to set aside for him. Obviously, Perfetti, McGroarty wouldn't be making a lot of money right off. They'd have a little bit more flexibility. Maybe they keep another UFA. Those guys come in. Like, that Hurricanes team looks very different, right? Winnipeg, like I said, they look very different. I mean, Perfetti hasn't had a consistent spot yet, but I think he will over time, assuming that they don't end up moving him. But, it's a trade that would have greatly impacted Winnipeg too. But long term, obviously the contract Natchez would have had to sign would have had a major impact. I don't know that the Winnipeg Jets really come out of this long term better. I think short term, obviously they're trying to win right now. Natchez probably has a bigger impact right away this coming year than Perfetti or McGroarty. But longer term, I think those other 2 guys have that potential to have a bigger impact. Now, I know the Jets, when it comes to McGroarty, they're willing to wait this out and be patient with him. Obviously, teams that were interested in him, they knew that to get him to sign, they were going to have to offer him an NHL opportunity right away. And, clearly that was a bit of a holdup here too, because some of the teams I don't think completely realized that in the beginning, but before deals were finalized, there was certainly information that I think a few teams kind of pumped the brakes a little bit and were like, whoa, like, I don't know that I want to guarantee this guy a roster spot. Like, we need, if he earns it, fine, but maybe he spends a little time in the minors first. That wouldn't be the worst thing either. So it's kind of difficult to say, but both of these players certainly made cases to make the trades complicated, given Natchez's reluctancy to sign and McGroarty's demands. It complicated both of their situations, so trying to get a deal done that involved both of them really made it that much more complicated. So to me, I'm not shocked to find out that this was discussed. Maybe it was close, but ultimately didn't happen. Like I said, and it's a combination of both of those reasons. At least that's our best guess here as to why it never came to be. So at the end of the day, this is a trade, like I said, that would make both teams look extremely different. Would have been a major talking point. Would have been a big piece of news. Unfortunately, it never came to be. The Winnipeg Jets were also discussing some other trades around the draft that came close to, and I'm going to do another video probably in the next day talking about that. So the Jets were a very busy team. We know Kevin Cheveldayoff has a very difficult job, given that Winnipeg does seem to be one of those markets that has a little bit of a struggle attracting players, and nothing to do with the team. I think it's more than anything is the city, the climate, all that type of stuff. At the end of the day, it's unfortunate because it is a really good sports city, and it's a team that's had a lot of success, and it makes it tough there on the fan base. It really does. But it's just the way it is, unfortunately. But there was lots of talk around the Winnipeg Jets, and not everything came to be clearly. So at the end of the day, this was a deal that was close, but as I say, no cigar. There was the Buffalo Sabres also, as I mentioned, when it comes to Natchez. They thought they had a deal too. Now, I don't know exactly what their offer was. I haven't had any new information that I've come across to kind of confirm or at least have a good idea what that offer was. But they thought they had a deal. We can say that much. And then the reluctance of Natchez to sign is what caused it to not happen. So again, players using their ability to get what they want, and ultimately it never happened. So let me know your thoughts on this trade that would have been transforming for both franchises. Who do you think would have won the deal had it happened? Do you think it would have been smart, wise for both sides to pull this trade off? I don't know. I think it would have been a great deal potentially for both sides, but long term, if those two players both materialize the way that they should, Carolina could possibly win that deal. But usually when you say that the team getting the best player in the deal wins the trade, I mean, short term, the most impact immediately I think would have been Natchez on Winnipeg, so we probably would have given them the early nod, but long term, that might be different. So let me know what you think in the comments. We'll discuss further. Again, like I said, we're getting more intel on some other trades that were discussed but never came to be, but we're close to the draft, so there'll likely be a few more videos here throughout the offseason discussing some of the stuff as the information makes itself known. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with the latest news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.